Genocide.
Resist.
On April 4, 2009, the Black Workers for Justice organization held their 26th annual banquet in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. This annual event marks the anniversary of King's assassination, which occurred while he was supporting striking workers in Memphis. The theme of the banquet, State of Emergency, reflected the current economic crisis and focused on creating solidarity in order to fight unfair business practices.
We are joining our diverse voices in common purpose of calling your attention to the need for federal action to remedy how the South, historically and today, remains the nation's underbelly. As a former community organizer, we believe you recognize that the status of the bottom is the key indicator of the health and well-being of the nation. And we appeal to you to keep fresh this perspective as you frame and implement policies to bring our nation to a realization of full democracy, peace, economic recovery, and prosperity for all.
I've been oppressed for so long that my feelings are like dynamite, ready to explode on contact, a necessary component of the fight. Hoping as I say this, I get it right. Living in a world feeling like without change, I will always be oppressed by modern-day Willie Lynches. But life aggravated by all the hype. Youngsters saying we overcame just because they're confused about bling and a majority of other things. But yet they say let freedom reign. While I'm over here yelling, it's time for a change. It is time for a change.
Because so often we start to talk about our country and our government as if we have something to say about any of it. Did anybody call you on the phone and ask you who should be bailed out? Did anybody ask you, help me with this, if your pension should be invested in bloody colonized South Africa or Chile or Nicaragua or any of the places where black and brown people dwell in utter absolute suffering? Did anybody ask us if we wanted people who look like us to still, in this day and age, in 2009, to still be the most unemployed, the poorest, the sickest, without health care, living in shanty shacks in the richest country in the world? Did anybody ask us? And nobody is coming to our rescue. Nobody's coming to our rescue. So how do we do our organizing in this period? What does it look like when we organize? I was in the airport and CNN was on, and the woman said, she was talking about the economic summit, the G20. And she said, there's questions now. Is capitalism wounded? Are we actually turning the page on Anglo-Saxon domination? These are questions. Came off the internet. So don't be afraid to ask, because that was a white woman asking that question. A privileged white woman was questioning the status quo. So you who are victims of the status quo, you should be fearless in your questions. You should question everything, every time. You should ask, why did this happen to me? Why in the richest country in the world do I have to beg for bread? Sexism is a killer. Sexism is a killer in our movement. Chauvinism, keeping a foot on a woman's neck even when she's a revolutionary, is killing our movement. Ageism is killing our movement. And during this last cycle, all of us ages got some lessons. And Leah was one of the people to help get us there, showing us incredible young people like Celia and that young brother back there, Wesley, and the other sister, Suleika. And they hosted the Schrock Conference stage. Powerful young people. If only we would just share in a relationship of equality and not be so threatened, look how much we could learn.
Of the Self-Determination Award. Well, 2 recipients, and last year we started a new award, the Black Workers for Justice Self-Determination Youth Award. And we're going to continue in that vein this year because there's some youth here in Raleigh that are doing some fantastic things, who realize that youth are workers too, but also realize that they have not overcome and that they have to take up this mantle and are taking up this mantle of workers' struggles and workers' rights and community rights and environmental justice issues, fighting against unjust wars. They're realizing that they have to take up this mantle, that they can't be divorced from it, that this is something that impacts not only their lives but in their communities also. So our Self-Determination Youth Award this year goes to Raleigh Fist, Fight Imperialism, Stand Together.